Welcome to the Body Drama Shift, where we move from confusion to clarity without guessing. Because your body isn't broken, it's communicating. If you're a woman in midlife dealing with stubborn weight, low energy, mood swings, or poor sleep, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. I'm Amy, creator of Whole Body Harmony.
And I'm Heather, creator of Embodied Rejuvenation. Together, we help you decode your symptoms by addressing both biology and the nervous system. Because real change happens when both are in alignment. Let's shift. So now we'll talk a little bit about how we met and maybe a little bit more about what we do. So we met, Amy and I think it was in 2018 through IIN, which is Integrative. Amy, can you help me?
Institute of Integrative Nutrition.
There you go.
I get it wrong all the time, too.
So we both became certified health coaches through there, and we met. We met through there, and we stayed friends. We stayed connected.
Yeah. We happened to be in the same small group when they broke us out into small groups. We were in the same small group, and it was just history from there. So we graduated from there in January of 2020, right before COVID hit. So of course we get this brand new awesome certification, and then COVID turned the world upside down. So it was a little bit of a challenge for us to integrate that. We were both working other jobs at the time, but we just felt super connected to each other and have watched each other grow a ton over the past 6 years. It's really been amazing to watch all of our shifts over the course of the past couple of years.
All of our certifications and things we've kind of gone in different directions to grow ourselves, and then like now here bringing it together.
Yeah. And we've been wanting to work together and have a project together and do something together for a long, long time, because we both want to serve the same kinds of women who are going through things that we've been through. Like I've been through all the hormonal changes. I'm still going through that. Our households, our families, our jobs, all of the things, but we both in our hearts have this passion for serving women at a deeper level and a higher capacity. And so we finally, I feel like through this podcast, are going to be able to come together and serve women in a really powerful way together.
Yeah. And maybe this is a fun fact. So we've known each other for that long and we have not met in person.
Yes, correct. I am in Ohio.
And I'm in Louisiana.
So yes, we have never met in person, but we have talked over Zoom and text and all the things, like a lot.
Yeah, probably every day.
Every day. Yeah. On average, every day. Feel like when things get busy, sometimes we, don't talk quite as much, but we always come right back, and it's like we never went away.
Yeah. We pick up where we left off.
Yeah, exactly.
And now that you say the certificate, we graduated in 2020. Maybe we started in 2019.
Maybe. Was it like it made fighting a year-long program?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we met, but we both kind of branched away from that a little bit. Like, I don't know how much of our IIN training either one of us really use currently. It was kind of a stepping stone.
Yeah, I think it was an introduction for me into the work that I do now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can always use it, but yeah, I don't use much of it.
Yeah, I started as a Beachbody coach in 2018. And that's really where like my kickoff was. And I'm also a school psychologist, and I'm getting ready to retire. So I won't be able to say that in 3 weeks. But 2018, when I signed up with Beachbody, that was like supposed to be my ticket out. And it's taken 2018 to 2026, 8 years for me to evolve to finally be able to get out of school psychology and be a full-time health coach. And all those certifications and experiences along the way have just led me to serve in a different way.
Yeah, and I started, what led me to IIN was I became a yoga teacher. So I did my 200-hour certification first. And then I was like, I want to learn more. But I went to IIN instead of like going to a 300-hour or 500-hour. And then I eventually, after graduating from IIN, for some reason I cannot get that word out right. I then decided I wanted to be a yoga therapist because I was teaching yoga classes and I noticed that people were having these like emotional responses in class, and I wasn't sure what to do with that. So I wanted to be able to really support them. So then I went on to become a yoga therapist, which was like 3.5 years. And I worked as a yoga therapist in a co-occurring substance abuse and mental health facility. So in June, I was laid off and decided that it was my time to do this on my own. So almost a year I've been in. Yeah,
It's crazy that it's been that long.
I know.
But yeah, I remember when that first happened and how you felt and what you were going through at that time and how excited you were to have the time to do what you love more and let go of that heavy stress that you felt in that position and what a relief that was to you. And I know that it was scary, but I also remember thinking like they did you a favor.
Yeah.
And not only did they do you a favor, they also did a favor to all of the women that you are able to serve.
Yeah.
Without them letting you go, you wouldn't be able to serve the women that you serve in the capacity that you do.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
I always say it's like it was a launch pad. Like it launched me into this. I probably would have never left on my own. So,
Yeah. It was like it was
yeah,
a forced thing because it's scary. It's scary to let go of a consistent income.
yes,
It is. And I applaud you for not jumping into, oh, I got to find another job right away, but embracing the opportunity. Like, that's awesome. And I'm also thinking, too, as we're talking, like, you and I are also very aligned in that we are both lifelong learners.
Mm.
We're always wanting to learn and grow. And neither one of us are ever like, oh, I've learned enough. It's all good. And then also just want to mention to our audience that we're both very faith-based as well. And we also both believe that God is leading us on a path and a journey for a reason.
Yeah.
And we are both pursuing that. So that is another angle that Heather and I both come from.
yeah. And I think too, like when you brought up me leaving the position or being let go from the position, I think we'll talk about this later in another topic, but there was some burnout and just like how, moving from, yes, I wanted to move into my own business, but what I realized was I needed some time before I could do that. And I was fortunate enough to have a couple of months cushion to where I could give myself a little bit of time to just have fun again. And, reconnect with myself and what I really wanted to do. So I don't know. I thought that was worth mentioning because, when we leave something, it's like we sometimes we need a little bit of time to reconnect with ourselves.
Yeah. And I think even when you're leaving something that's that draining and mentally exhausting and all of that, like there's also a grieving process that comes with it. Like, even though it's someplace you didn't really want to be anymore, there's still like that transition. Like, there's a grief process that you go through of losing something that you know, and something that even if you didn't like it, you still were comfortable, and that routine and all of those things. And I know that when I leave my job in 3 weeks, like, I've been a school psychologist for 28 years. Like, that's a big piece of me that's always going to be there. And so I'm definitely going to go through some of that. I'm going to miss the people. I'm going to miss that routine and structure, even though I'm also craving the freedom of not having the routine and structure. Like, it's a big emotional shift.
Yeah. And since we're kind of talking about that, when you brought up grief, it made me think of like how we talked a little bit about our certifications and how we got to where we are now. But I think too, we want to talk in this episode about a little bit about our story and like what really brought us to this work. And when you brought up grief, that is a big thing that brought me to this work. So, when I graduated high school, I wanted to be a cosmetologist. And I went to cosmetology school and I was doing hair for about 6 months. And I became allergic to all the products. So I think that that was like my stepping or my introduction, my invitation into this work. My body was speaking and saying, this is not for you. And at that time, I didn't know that. I didn't have that language. Of course, there was so much grief because here I am, 19, 20 years old. What am I going to do with my life? Like I thought I had this plan, right? And so there was a lot of grief with that. And I didn't know what I wanted to do next. So I went to college. My parents were paying this money for me to go to college and I was wasting their money because I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I did accounting for 15 years. And that was not fulfilling to me because I want to be with people. I want to work with people. I love people. So sitting behind a desk and behind a computer was not for me. And I lost my dad in 2013. And that was just an opening that I can talk about it lightly now, but there was some huge pain and grief. And yeah, I mean, the words grief, it was a life-changing event for me. So I would say that was really what led me here. It, a lot of times people talk about grief and we think of the things, the sadness, the pain, all of these things. But for me, it was all of those things and the absence of him and all of those things. But it was an identity change in me. Like I was no longer the same person that I was when he was still here. So, I had to find that or reconnect with that new person, right? So I think that is why I know that is why I do this work now. And not to mention the things that came after that. I feel like it was like a decade of hard. I lost my father. I went through a flood and lost everything in my home and was living with friends for a year and a half. Something else happened in there too that was pretty trauma driven. But so that is what brought me here to where I am.
And you've dealt with a lot of like the hurricanes down there. Like, you know what to do, you know the drill. It's still scary and traumatic every time it happens.
But since you brought that up, that was the other thing. So 2013, I lost my dad. 2016, we had a flood. We moved back in our house in 2018. 2021, our house, we had a hurricane come through. And probably the worst one I had experienced in my life. I remember one when I was younger, Andrew, that was pretty rough. But this one was, I won't stay for another one after this one. But it took the roof off of my house. So we had redone our whole house. And then it took the roof off. So we had water coming in. So we had to go back to the studs and redo again. So, and at that time I was in my yoga therapy training. So yeah, there was a lot in that decade that happened. But I'm stronger for it. I've done a lot of work around it. And it brought me to where I am. So, and I think it helps me serve in a better capacity, a bigger capacity. So that's a little bit about what brought me to where I am.
And for me, like I mentioned, I've been a school psychologist for 28 years. So that's been a lot of my journey. But I was in a job for 20 years, and the last 5 years of it were extremely rough, very toxic environment, not just from a environmental standpoint. The office that I was in for the last 5 years was a converted locker room. So there was literally a room off of my office that used to have showers, and you could go into that room and see the mold on the walls. So I had some mold toxicity come into my body that I had no idea. That hadn't been trained yet. So I had no idea how damaging that could be. But it was also a very toxic environment in terms of extremely stressful. Everyone was stressed to the max. The expectations were beyond what anybody should be expected to do. We were all working all day at school and then going home and doing hours of work at home at night on the weekends. It really took a lot of time for me away from my family. I lost a lot of time when my boys were little because I was so stressed and overwhelmed in that job. And then in 2022, my husband got really sick and was in the hospital for 2 weeks. And it was scary and but also very enlightening. And it catapulted me into deciding to leave that position, even though I had been there for 20 years. So I took a leap of faith and I left that job and went to another school psych position that I took a $30,000 pay cut, like literally $30,000. And part of that was because I was bumped down on the pay scale, even though I had 24 years experience in the school psych world. In education, you get punished for your years experience. So when I went to my new job, I was put down to step 14 instead of 25, where I should have been. So there was a pay cut there, but then also I went from 4 days to 5 days. From 5 days to 4 days, because I realized that my mental health had to come before a paycheck. So I like to say that when my husband went into the hospital, it was God hitting me over the head with a 2x4. Like, you got to pay more attention to your family. Like, that has to come first. And you've got to let go of this job that is sucking your soul. So I left that job in 2022 and went to another job 4 days a week. And it's been amazing. It's been like one of the best decisions I could have ever made, because it is a much more supportive environment. I'm not working a ton of hours from home. It gave me more time to work my business and to support and serve women in my passion. And so now I'm taking 4 years later, another leap of faith to retire as a school psychologist. And I'm taking early retirement. I'm only 52, so I'm really not old enough to retire. But I am blessed that former job helped me in terms of what my income can be in retirement. So I'm taking another leap of faith and diving full on to be a full-time integrative health practitioner. And another part of the reason that I went into integrative health is because I went through, and I'm still going through, those hormonal changes of perimenopause, transitioning into menopause. And that's another thing that kind of hit right during COVID. So I was about 45, COVID hit, but also I think perimenopause hit at the time, even though I didn't realize it. So it added an extra layer to the challenges of COVID, was that my body was going through a lot of changes. I took that opportunity of working from home to dive in deeper with my workouts, but it didn't work because my body didn't need that at the time. So I've learned a lot about my body and what my body needs. And that's what I help other women do, is figure out what's going on in their bodies. So that's kind of been my journey. So I became trained as an integrative health practitioner because I wasn't getting answers from anybody else. So I did that so that I could heal myself and then help others heal as well.
I want to say too, Amy, when you brought that up, it made me also think about after my dad passed away. I was diagnosed with I was I got married in 2011, and so probably around the time that my dad passed away, we were talking about having kids, and so after that, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome and insulin resistance, and found out that there were some infertility issues. So I would say that that was another thing that led me uh, to practicing yoga, taking better care of my body, really learning about how food affects us, and trying to heal uh, the insulin resistance with food. Um, so, yeah, that was another leading factor to getting my health coaching certification and later doing yoga therapy as well.
Yeah. And I think too, for me, my father in law passed away unexpectedly in January of 2025. And that was another piece that, like, again, God hitting me over the head with the 2x4. Like, life is too short. He passed away at 76. He was the youngest of the grandparents. He was the youngest of his friend group. And it was very, very sudden and unexpected. And it was like he was here. We saw him on January 1st, left his house January 1st, not knowing that it would be the last time that I saw him. 7 days later, he was gone. So that was another thing that led me in this direction, was like, okay, life's too short to not do what you're passionate about. And he would have wanted that for me. And that was my first experience of losing a parent figure like that. I'm very blessed to still have both of my parents. My husband's mom is still alive, and so very blessed. But going through that experience was extremely challenging. And I learned a lot from it. And it taught me that life's too short. And also, another thing with that is that obviously my parents were getting older. And when that happened, it hit me that we're going to go through this 3 more times. And that sits heavy on my heart. And I'm blessed that my parents live really close. And so retiring now and having the flexibility of being an integrative health practitioner and running my own schedule is going to allow me to be there to help my parents. And that's really important to me. I've been going to a lot of doctor's appointments with my mom lately. She's had some health emergencies the past 5-6 months. And I'm looking forward to being able to go to those appointments without worrying about the responsibility of my day job.
Yeah, I love that you said that because, we talk about what this work, the things that we have done, me, yoga therapy, and health coaching, those things have helped us heal. But um, I think the life events that we experienced, and even though I was let go from the position that I was in, um, you know, I have a vision for my life. I have a dream. I have passion. And me experiencing the loss of my father when he was 52 years old. Yeah, I was 28 years old. And so to me, it's like, okay, now I'm 40 years old. I have 12 years until I get to 52. Like, what do I want to do in this life? And none of us are promised tomorrow. So why not do it now?
Right. Right. Yep. And I'm proud of us for taking these leaps of faith and pursuing our passion. And I want our audience to know that it's possible for them too.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes we get in this, our brains tell us, like, you can't do that. You're stuck where you are. You can't make a shift. That's what this podcast is going to be about, is making shifts. And neither one of us are going to tell you to go out and quit your job. But we're going to tell you to find ways to pursue your passion, because it's really important to have that in your life.
Yeah.
Something that you feel passionate about, and that you're not like on this hamster wheel, like just constantly going through the motions. I wake up, do this, 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 and this, go to bed, wake up, repeat, 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 repeat. That's really hard on us.
Yeah. Emotionally, physically too.
Energetically.
Yeah. It creates burnout. yeah, it doesn't have to be as extreme as leaving your job.
Right.
It seems like I've done that a couple times. But yeah, there's things that you can do, smaller things that you can integrate into your life that will help spark that passion and um aliveness.
For sure. For sure.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your family? Because I know that's important to both of us.
Sure. Yeah. So I am a boy mom. I have two boys. One just actually came home last night from college, which was super exciting. So he is home for the summer, just finished his freshman year at Ohio State University. So I am super excited to have him home. It's going to be a transition, though, back to being surrounded by three boys in my house instead of just two. So I'm really, though, excited to spend some time with him, and retiring is going to take a mental load off of me as well to be able to enjoy that time and space with him a little bit more. And then I have a 17-year-old who is finishing up his junior year of high school. So that is exciting and terrifying at the same time, that he's going to be a senior and he will be leaving the nest this time, a little bit more than a year from now. And my husband is a health commissioner at Preble County Health District. So he's busy with that, lots of responsibility there. And like I said, my parents live nearby and we've been married for almost 22 years. So yeah. And it's interesting for me that good things usually happen to me in even numbered years. So I was married in 2004. My oldest was born in 2006. My youngest was born in 2008. I left my job that was rough in 2022, and I'm retiring in 2026.
Yeah, so I have been married since 2011. We just made our 15-year anniversary last week. And my husband owns his own business, and he has a son who is autistic. So I adopted him in 2020. Yeah, I think it was around that time. So that's another big shift that kind of happened in my life. He came to live with us for 2 years. So now he lives in a group home, and he is thriving. He is with others that are like him, and in a community of people with like abilities. So he loves it there. They love him, and he is thriving.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So and we'll talk about at the end where you can find us, but I sometimes refer to him on social media, but I do not show pictures of him because he is minimally verbal and he is not able to give consent to those pictures. So yeah, we do things with him, but I don't share that publicly, his picture. So if you ever hear me talking about him as our guy, that's who I'm referring to. Yeah.
And you have your two pups at home?
Oh, how did I forget
Get that.
Those are my babies. I have a golden doodle who was 8 months old when we got him. He was a rehome. And labradoodle. She is a rescue. And yes, they are my babies. They sleep in the bed with us. Yeah, you'll find me talking to them sometimes. I just love them so much. So,
And one of the things that you've started doing the past couple of years that I absolutely love is hosting retreats.
yeah.
I need to come to one so that we can finally meet up in person.
Yes.
So we're going to make that happen here soon. But yeah,
I've hosted in North Carolina in the mountains and here in Louisiana. And I love putting together retreats. I get to bring when I create and design retreats, I get to bring a lot of my passions to the table. So yeah, that's fun for me too.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've shared quite a bit. And hopefully everyone's still hanging on and listening. So let's just share where people can find us if they want to check out and learn more about us. So you can find me at Amy Wilford Health on Facebook or Instagram, all one word, Amy Wilford Health. Or you could go to my website, which is wholebodyharmonycoach.com. And on my website is also a place where you can book a call if you want to have a clarity one-on-one call with me and just share your story and we can connect that way.
And you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Embodied Rejuvenation. My website is embodiedrejuvenation.com. And same, you can book a call with me through my website. I'd love to have a conversation with you and connect. Also, on my website, you can sign up for my newsletter where I send on Wednesdays the weekly pause, which is free little nervous system snacks.
Yeah, I have a newsletter as well that you could also subscribe to through my website. And I also think, I don't know, Heather and I haven't talked about this, but if anybody would like to talk to both of us at the same time, I am more than happy to do that, have a 3-way call with the two of us and you. And that would be, I think, super powerful and fun as well.